My name's Bill and I'm an alcoholic. And this share is called Moving On. Pain is the touchstone to freedom. It's a very well-known saying. And if you suffer from a hopeless state of mind and body that we call active alcoholism, I think you'll understand how inner pain and exterior turmoil infiltrates the daily living of an alcoholic's life. It infiltrates every fibre of your body. It infiltrates your family, your work life, your money, your feelings, your thought processes, your needs and your wants. Nothing gets excluded from the turmoil that alcohol will weave its web around. It's not easy to comprehend how much anxiety and how many resentment-laden days an alcoholic will have to go through in order to get to a place where they've had enough, where they finally surrender, where they put their hands up and said, no more. And I did get to that place. And I know today, luckily for me, that it was a place where my life was completely grey and unvarnished, where there was no friendly direction left, and even suicide and death didn't seem good enough. But I obviously didn't want to die, because I called Alcoholics Anonymous. But it took me 25 years of active alcoholism to get there. And in that time, I functioned. I paid my taxes. I held a clean driving licence. How, I don't know, because I drove every day. I raised a family. I weeded my garden. We had lots of lovely roses. I even had a tool shed. My life from the outside was about as ordinary as it's possible to get. So never judge somebody from the outside of what you can see, because sometimes you'll never know. When I was a teenager, like most other teenagers, life seemed forever, and I had no boundaries. My life stretched into the far distance, and I really took it all for granted. However, drink quickly and methodically started to guide my life's chances, where I left a good school with good prospects, with absolutely nothing. I effectively had no friendships that were going to last because I wouldn't put my time into them. Why? Because I was on a mission to succeed. And I had ambitions to build a business, to make some money, and to show the world how important I was. And all of these things would justify the problems that alcohol were by then creating in my life, and I was only 15 years old. Now, I'm not one to cast blame, point the finger, nor am I a jealous person, never have been, because I'm a doer. But unfortunately, some of what I did ended up hurting those closest to me, which in turn brought pain and unhappiness back into my life. My very first long-term relationship finally finished in my late teens. I felt heartbroken, I was resentful, and I was very, very angry. And I thought, whatever have I done to deserve this? Because I just couldn't see that my drinking, my not coming home, my being unfaithful had hurt the person that I was living with. But I'm an alcoholic of our type. I'm selfish and self-seeking, and I can't see things from my perspective. And whilst that's understandable, and it's perfectly normal to feel remorse at the end of a broken relationship, looking back now, the seeds of the rest of my life because of that breakup, had just been planted. And it wasn't long after I was to meet the person I was to spend the rest of my life with. We raised our children, and now in retirement, 47 years later, I can start to see the big picture, the big plan for my future that was being mapped out all those years ago, even though I didn't see it at the time. And that's the thing about hurt and pain. Whilst they are horrible to live with and to go through, on the other side is a life that is not yet finished. It's not yet even visited, because it's not yet even begun. Nothing guarantees hope in this life, and nothing guarantees a future contentment. But my experience is very simple, and it's this. One day always follows yesterday, and however bad things may seem, tomorrow morning will always be a new start. So when people decide to let me go, or I want to walk away, or I part company with someone I don't want to, these are not only endings in my life, but they also become my new beginnings, because as one door closes, another door will always open. And letting go is a door that is opening. Moving on is a stepping stone, and endings are not really endings. They are just where a new life will begin. And that's how a recovery from alcoholism builds faith in our future. For without faith that all's going to be okay, my sobriety is just that, it's just a sober day. But with faith and with hope, my sobriety turns into a life worth living. And that life that it turns into, I can learn from, I can build, and I can start to love once more again. Bill the Shirt, Bristol.